Eiichiro Oda is one of the most successful mangaka in the world thanks to the seemingly never-ending titan that is One Piece. Thousands of chapters, episodes, many movies, video games, merchandise, and even a card game. One Piece is basically taking over the world at this point. But what was Oda's journey like before he got to this point? This is Wanted, a volume collection of Oda's 4 previous pilot series from the early 90s before the great pirate era we know today. Oda himself even said this was a masterpiece collection of his work. And if Oda says it's good, oh, it's good. Now the problem is, unless you know Japanese or Spanish, then you're completely out of luck getting an English official copy of the manga. But I mean, you know, we live in the great pirate era, so there's ways to get around it. So let's take a deep dive into Oda's earlier work. Starting with the title of this collection series, Wanted. Published in February 1993 while Oda was a senior in high school, this story explains the cowboy western of Gil Bastar, a criminal whose name to fame came from killing bounty hunters, but nobody realizes it was in self-defense, earning him a bounty of 87 billion. 87 billion. This man is worth more than probably every single One Piece character combined. If that's the case, then Gil mid-dips the entire One Piece world. Wild Joe was a famous bounty hunter who went to collect Gil's bounty. However, he sucks ass and dies, but his ghost lives on to haunt Gil, wishing to possess someone else's body in hopes of getting a rematch with Gil. When reading this, my first impression was it felt a lot like Trigun or Dragon Ball in terms of the art style and humor. This definitely gives the vibes of an amateur artist, but it has a fun charm to it, and it's not horrible. Shit, in terms of art style, it's a lot better than the One Punch Man webcomic. It ends with Gil defeating Sino Phoenix, the strongest bounty hunter, and Wild Joe passes away. Overall, this one was okay, and I liked the more simpler Western setting, but I feel that a lot of these other ones are just much better in terms of plot and art style. Fun fact, this logo inspired the One Piece logo, along with Gil and Joe having brief cameos in the One Piece movie end credits. Next up is God's Gift for the Future, published in October of 1993. In this series, God is basically an asshole. Bran is a pickpocket, and God watches over him from above, upset that he's unwilling to change his dirty ways. So he summons a meteor to kill Bran at exactly 4:44 p.m., but he accidentally writes the name of a grocery store instead. Common mistake. Realizing he fucked up, God asks Bran to help save the grocery store before it's destroyed as his one chance to become a better person. Okay, so God asked me to save hundreds of people from dying via a mistake he made, or else he'll kill me? Yeah, that seems fair. Anything God writes in his notebook using the pen of fate will happen no matter what, and it can't be undone. Whatever you write in the notebook will happen in real life. Why does that sound extremely familiar? Bran warns the CEO of the grocery store, but he doesn't believe him. After issuing a bomb threat, he manages to get everyone out of the building. It was 1993. These were different times. A irresponsible mom realizes her kid is still in the building, and with only 30 seconds left, he Usain Bolts towards the 6th floor, grabs the kid, jumps out of the building, and in probably the coolest panel of this manga, the meteorite hits the building, and the crowd just watches, realizing Bran was telling the truth this whole time. At the end of the series, Bran goes about his day like any other after stealing God's wallet. For the most part, I wasn't too invested in this one until the part where Bran was trying to figure out how to get the citizens out of the grocery store. It feels weird seeing a more modern setting from Oda, but I mean, it's a nice change of pace. Fun fact, this story was inspired by Oda's simple desire to draw a building being destroyed. An artistic genius, I tell you. Next up is Ikki Yako, published in April of 1994. Our main protagonist is a monk named Guko. I'm sorry, Guko? Guko? This feels like some sort of Chinese knockoff Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, Guko is alone in a dark forest. He sees a monster and runs away, only to find a town nearby. He asks the town people if he can spend the night, but everyone just assumes he's here to help destroy the monster. Yet they don't realize that Guko is actually just a scaredy cat bitch. So he pretends like he's going to help just so he can spend the night for free. The monster attacks him, but it turns out to be the handsome guardian deity who is just bored and wants to scare people for entertainment. This is giving major Scooby-Doo vibes right now. They realize another monster is on the loose, but Guko, the smartest character ever, decides to run rather than fight, but is ambushed by the monster. After beating the shit out of the monk, Guko tries to reason with the monster, but the monster continues to attack him. Guko realizes the monster is wearing the clothes of his master that he's been trying to find, realizing that he killed him. In anger, Guko grabs a sword and slays the monster in a really cool fucking action shot. The series ends with Guko's newfound determination to slay monsters. You know, Guko just reminds me a lot of Usopp. He starts off as this major coward, but with a big enough push, he becomes, you know, really more confident and is able to get the job done. Like, really for me, I really wasn't super into the story until the monster showed up and Guko started to become more confident in himself and was fighting back. And now for the last and arguably the best one, Monster. The story of a samurai named Ryuma, a proud samurai who will fight any man who's daring enough to touch tips. 10 years ago, the horn of a dragon was stolen after said dragon attacked the village of our main heroine, Flare. Much later, a man named DR arrives, and because he touched Ryuma's tip, Ryuma is ready to fight. However, DR is the king of gaslighting. He stabs himself and accuses Ryuma of stealing the dragon horn, and then proceeds to use that dragon horn to summon the dragon and breaks the horn afterwards. While Flare's having PTSD from her experience with the dragon, we learn that her childhood hero Cyrano and DR were responsible for the dragon attack on Flare's home 7 years ago and are doing it again to loot the town for its wealth. In anger, Ryuma confronts and even kills Cyrano. Before Ryuma can do the same to DR, the dragon comes and oh my god, this art is fucking beautiful. It gets even better when Ryuma jumps up and cuts the dragon's head off in one slice. The story ends with Ryuma saying goodbye to Flare and the realization that Ryuma is actually the world's greatest swordsman. Now, what makes this story objectively the best one is that it's actually canon in the One Piece world. Confirmed by Oda in SBS Volume 47. You remember Ryuma from Thriller Bark? Yeah. Those are the same dude bros. Overall, I really enjoy looking through Oda's early works and seeing his growth as an artist and the inspirations that led to One Piece. I'd say probably my favorites were Ikki Yako and Monster, and it would be awesome to see those series continue on. But yeah, that was just a quick look at some of Oda's early works before One Piece. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole YouTube shebang, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!